Okay, so this is kind of a question more of like clarification about something that you said. I'm interested in hearing you expand on this following statement. To paraphrase, you highlighted the fact that you are a man of Indian descent and your wife is a woman of Mexican and Venezuelan descent, implying it's impossible or at least highly unlikely that you are or could be racist. I'm concerned you use your Indian heritage as a diversity card to shield yourself from criticism about racially or ethnically problematic comments and or stances that you've made or taken in the past. Is this not opposite but parallel to the stereotype that all people who are white are racist? A claim I don't agree with, and one that I'll concede some of the leftists you disagree with do employ for their purposes. I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on that, hear you expand on that.
I think I'm familiar with the view, but I don't share it, that people of color intrinsically cannot be racist. This is actually a doctrine of the left. And I don't agree with it because I think that racism is a doctrine of racial superiority, inferiority, of racial denigration. So obviously, in principle, it's possible for anyone to be a racist. Now, that being said, we always have to balance what someone says with a contextual use of what they said and with a fair attribution of the label. Because I think you would agree that if you go around calling people racist, just because they say things you don't agree with, or they have a disputed interpretation of something that let's just take, for example, slavery or a topic like that. Open debate is not racist. Open debate is very healthy in an academic community. Racial denigration is racist. So I ask you in fairness, I've been up here now speaking. If you believe the posters and the dissenters and the comments and the Stanford paper and so on, you might have expected me to stand up and give you 45 minutes of racial invective. So a very good way to test these things is to ask you, have you heard me say anything tonight that you would consider racist? And if not, why would you even raise that term in my connection?
If I could. Okay, there we go. So I will concede to you. I did not hear anything explicitly racist, and I do have to say I appreciate that. Thank you. However, just looking at some of the tweets and some of the publications and comments you have made in the past, and I can't recall specifically some right now, and I realize that looks shady, and I apologize. If I had photographic memory, I would pull those up, but I don't. But yes, I do believe that I've seen some tweets and some publications and comments you've made that some could argue are racially charged, which is why I brought this question up. But no, I will concede that you didn't this tonight.
Let me address that for a minute, because this is a case where I think it is good to go to the heart of the matter. The example that is most frequently used in this context on social media occurred about a year ago when I released the movie Death of a Nation. Now, if you've seen this movie, the thrust of this movie, somewhat along the lines of my talk, is that the racism and the fascism, which I dramatize luridly in the movie, are actually the work of the left and, in America, of the Democratic Party. So in the heat of promoting this movie, I was flying around the country, and someone on the left decided to set a trap for me. And so what they did was they tweeted my movie trailer. Great movie, watch this movie. Hashtag bring back slavery. Right? Now, I looked at the person's account. It's a fake account. I wasn't accidentally retweeting a white supremacist, nothing like that. This was someone on the left who tried to trap me by putting the hashtag, knowing that in the craziness of movie promotion, doing 30 or 40 retweets a day, trying to promote my movie, I would retweet the trailer without seeing the hashtag. And that's what happened. I retweeted the trailer. Seconds later, it was pointed out to me, I deleted it. But the people who planted it were there to capture the image and then send it out everywhere. It resulted in me losing speaking engagements and so on. So let me ask you this. What's really insidious here? That I unwittingly and foolishly, but nevertheless, inadvertently, I've written 17 books. I couldn't be a scholar at the Hoover Institution if I really believe bring back slavery. No sane person in public life would do that. So to set me up and then use this to try to destroy my career by pretending, people who knew better, that they were trying to attribute to me something I never believed and would never do. So which is more dangerous, me accidentally doing the retweet, or the evil people who were trying to destroy my career by smearing me with opinions that I don't hold? In all honesty, I'd ask you to think about that. Now, never feel sorry for a guy like me, because I enjoy it. This kind of craziness, when I experience it, it's fun. You're actually making my day. But the people I really feel sorry for is the ordinary student. The ordinary student who feels like I can't speak my mind because there is this crushing, bullying, kind of intellectual gangsterism around me that doesn't allow me to think freely, it doesn't allow me to speak freely. And what it does is it takes the label of hate speech. By the way, the Democratic Party is officially the party of hate speech. They invented hate speech. And they take this label of hate speech and they foist it on people who are not doing any hate. I mean, if you think about it, the left that wanted to ban my lecture describe what I've just been telling you for the last 45 minutes as hate speech. To them, this speech does not belong at Stanford. Notice my reading of it, that the reason they say that is none of them can counter a single fact I raise. If they could, they'd stand up and do it. And the same with these 124 historians. Oh, your article appeared in Breitbart. That makes you a fool. I'm like, my article may have appeared in Breitbart, but it's an excerpt from my book. It doesn't matter what website it appeared on. Let's see if you can question. My article was about the 3 things that Hitler got from the Democratic Party. You think this is explosive stuff? If you could refute it, you'd be all over the content. Oh, Dinesh, why are you publishing in Breitbart? As if that's what discredits the article. Look, this is a very elite campus. You're a very smart group of students. You deserve better. But intellectual freedom means fighting against the people who are blocking you from being able to think for yourself. I submit at the end of the day, that's not Dinesh D'Souza who comes once in a while to speak on a Monday, leave on a Tuesday. That's the bullying elements who are around you every day, who will make your life hell if you want to be nothing more than what you should be, which is in fact an intellectually liberated you. Thank you very much.
I want to think in my talk about walls, not just the wall, but walls in general, and walls in the context of some larger questions that have to do with identity and belonging, and who gets to be inside the wall and who gets to be outside a wall, and why. I remember when I first showed up at Dartmouth, this was actually yesterday, I looked around and I thought to myself, wow, this is such an incredible open campus. I don't see any walls. It's really easy to just stroll on the campus. And then I realized that that's actually not true. And anyone who thinks that's true isn't really looking hard, because Dartmouth has much higher walls than Trump wants to build. And those walls are actually controlled by the admissions office. The wall has to do with who gets to be a member of the Dartmouth community, and that wall is jealously guarded and limited to 1,000 students every year, excluding more than 10 times that number that want to come in, perhaps more. And this wall is guarded so diligently and ruthlessly that, to my knowledge and the entire history of the college, there has not been a single person who has jumped the wall. And what I mean by that is it possible for somebody who is not a Dartmouth student to sneak into Dartmouth, take courses for 4 years, and leave with a Dartmouth degree. It turns out, to my knowledge, that is completely impossible. It has never happened. And that means that this wall is protected far more savagely jealously and determinedly than any wall that we could possibly put around this country. Any wall that we put would necessarily be porous. This wall, as far as I can tell, is completely opaque.